Hey guys, Coach Hud. Hey, sorry it's been a while since I've done a video for you guys. We are hitting the midpoint of our current cycle this week, and so I thought, well, it was a perfect time to do a video for you, talk about where we're going for the rest of this cycle, which will take us up through the end of the year. Right? So this was planned as a strength cycle. It was a 9-week cycle. And so this being our 5th week, it's going to be the middle of that. We're going to do a deload this week. And this week you'll see just like one set or the first rep at RPE 8 like you've been doing, and then we'll do a set of either 5 or 4 depending on the movement at RPE 9, and then that's where we'll leave it for the week. And then we'll do 4 more weeks of building. I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth because it'll be the same. It'll be the same movements except for the squat, which will be just a regular back squat. We'll take the pause out of it after this deload week, and I'll talk a little bit about the reps and schemes and stuff for those that are interested. Those that are not, I'll let you know, and you can stop watching the video at that point if that's something that you're just like, hey, I'm just going to show up and do what you tell me, coach. I'm good. So the 9 weeks will take us through like the end of November into that first week of December. Then we'll do one more deload, and then we'll test. And so the test week will be the week of December 13th. That'll be test week for us, and then that's when we typically go into our 2 weeks at the holiday time frame. And so we'll have some workouts programmed for those 2 weeks, but people will be taking some time off. They'll be visiting with families and stuff. But it's also a great time during those 2 weeks because we program in some fun workouts that we typically can't do with our structure of having the strength portion in the class. Some can be a little bit longer. So should be a fun week. Some great workouts those 2 weeks. And it's an opportunity that I get to play and put in some fun workouts. The workouts, as you've seen them, will continue the way we're going. We're trying to still do several practice days during the week, and then 2 competition days during the week, or a competition and a mental toughness workout during the week. I got some feedback. You guys wanted some more hero WODs. They're coming your way too. We had one this past week with the DT. You'll see a few more of those on some mental toughness days, and some more named workouts for the competition. We'll still continue our practice days, especially practicing the handstand push-ups and some pull-ups for people. Everybody's making some really nice progress on those, and we'll keep that up. I think that's good through the end of this cycle. We'll try some different stuff into the next cycle, and that should take us through the end of the year. So this is a good point. I'm going to talk about what the rep schemes and stuff will look like for the second half of this cycle. It'll be a little bit different, and why we're changing up a little bit of them. If you're interested in that, stay tuned to this video. If not, I will see you guys in the gym. All right, guys. So for the ones that are interested in this the next half of this cycle coming up, it will be roughly similar to what we've been doing in the sense that we'll still do a heavy single at like a RPE 8. But our back offs, where they've typically been like 4 or 5 reps at RPE 9 to 8, some of the things that research and literature and stuff that looking at, and the people that I tend to follow, they've been looking at especially for a strength portion, they've been looking at trying to maintain our RPE levels for those multi-rep sets at around a 6 to a 7. So where you should have several more reps in the tank. And so that's what we'll see this cycle is. The number of reps per set will actually drop like by 1 or so for each of those movements that we're doing. But the intensity, so think of the intensity as how hard it is going to drop down down to an RPE 6 or 7. So some people have one issue with that is some people have trouble judging, like what is an RPE 6 or 7? How do I tell if I've got 3 or 4 reps left in the tank? A couple ways you can tell is if your bar speed, like how quickly the bar is moving up and down, typically for most people around a 7 or 8, they'll feel their bar speed kind of slow down just a little bit. So if you've noticed, like while you've been squatting one time and say that you're doing a set of 5 and and you're going to go to an RPE 9, that, maybe the first 2 reps feel like they move pretty quickly, and then that 3rd rep is like it's slowed down just a little bit, and then maybe that 4th rep is even a little slower, and that 5th rep might not be quite like a grind out, but it's slower even still. And so those are some good indications when that bar speed first starts to slow down, that you might be in the RPE 6 to 7 range, somewhere around in there. So that's kind of a generalization, right? There's some people who lift in the gym who, like, every rep is, feels like it's kind of slow when they're going through it, or their bar will slow down. And for me, I might have like 2 more reps when my bar started to slow down, and they'll still rep out like 4 or 5 more reps. And I don't know how they do it, but they do it. It's just people are different. Everybody's individual, right? So, but a general gauge you'll see for the 6 or 7, if you start feeling the bar speed slow down, we want to take a little weight off the bar and keep the bar moving, right? So why keep I'm doing less weight, coach, I'm not going to get as strong. And so the premise is that while a heavier weight can give you more stimulus, in a sense of trying to work to be stronger, it also gives you a lot more fatigue. So you guys would all know that if you lift a bar at RPE 9 for 5 reps and you lift it for RPE 6 for 5 reps, that you're going to be really tired comparative to the 2. And you might be able to do the RPE 6 or 7 like again in a minute or so and be able to rep out the same piece. The RPE 9, you may need 3 or 4 minutes, and you still might not, it might turn into a 10 still because you built up so much fatigue. And so the premise is that maybe over time we're building the extra stimulus that we get might end up being masked by how much fatigue you are gathering as an athlete, and that you're not able to realize the gains in there. So what we can do is add just a little more volume to that, so maybe one more set than what we were going to do if we were keeping it at 8 and 9, but I can keep the reps, the intensity of those reps a little bit lighter, still get some strength gains out of them, but not have them completely masked by all this extra fatigue that we have going on. And we got a lot of other things that create our fatigue. Our WODs of the day create fatigue for us. Stress creates fatigue for us. So this is working in there to where maybe we can balance that a little bit. We're still going to get a heavy single in, so we're practicing the movement at a heavy weight, and that practicing at a heavy weight allows us to represent that when we go to test week, right? And so you can think of this as like it's in the same ballpark as like when runners will, if they're running for a marathon, they may never run like the full 26 miles at marathon pace right before a marathon to show that they can do it, right? They may run small segments of their running at marathon pace, and then they're accumulating their volume running at a lower pace, right? And it's that accumulation of that volume where you're doing all those things multiple times that's helping you build your strength, just like you're kind of building your endurance if you're a runner. So that's the theory. And so what we'll do these last 4 weeks after this deload week is work on that. RPE range will be in the 6 to 7 for our back off sets, and we'll add a little more volume in there, and we should be able to fit that in the same amount of time frame because you aren't going to need quite as much rest to be able to recover to do those same reps at RPE 6 to 7. And we're going to give that a shot as we push through here on the strength piece, and then we'll retest our strength again week of December 13th. And then we'll have a couple weeks off during the holiday, and then we'll be back at it again January 2021. Let's hope 2021 is a lot different than 2020. All right. And I think that's it. If you guys got questions, all feel free to ask me, any of the other staff members. I'm always, you can hit me up on Facebook Messenger, any of those, send me an email. I'm happy to talk. All right. And I think that's it for this week. So I will see you guys at the box. And this is me wishing you both love, peace, and fitness. We'll see you later, guys.